morning, good afternoon, good evening. Coming to you live from my Honda Accord, riding with the young man.
You already know.
That's my son, KJ. He is my junior, hence the J. That's right.
Well, my birth certificate, it says otherwise.
We're not gonna go there. It says number 2 is what it says. It doesn't say junior, it says 2. It's what it is. So, taking the young sir to school this morning, and figured we'd have a conversation. I had one yesterday, yesterday with my lovely daughter Leah. This is my handsome young son, KJ. Today we are going to be talking about fears, talking about overcoming fears, and a few fears that he may have as a young African American male in high school, facing the future. I know there's some fears that I faced when I was in high school, a few fears that I'm facing as an adult. We talked about this briefly a couple of days ago on the way home from school, some fears and things of that matter. But we're just going to rehash it. I think it was a great conversation. It was just too dark for me to record anything. So we are going to have a conversation about fears. So KJ, what are some fears you have?
Some fears that I have.
Yeah.
Not knowing what to do with my life right now. That is one major fear I have that I've been thinking about a lot lately. And whether I do want to go to college or not, which I probably will, but like, what's it called? A trade school?
Trade school.
Probably a trade school.
Okay.
I can't see myself going to 4-year college.
Which is interesting to me. Because, one, as a father, I don't know where that started. Which is awesome that you have the thought process. And I'll tell anybody, I support my kids, and I know my kids know I'll support them 100%. My thing is, I've always said, for their whole life, and they'll probably go like this when I say it, is that I want them to at least do 2 years of school, 2 years of college. Get beyond that, you can do anything with an associate's degree, unless that job requires more school. But a lot of things can be done with just an associate's degree. I'm not trying to shortcut my kids. I don't want my kids to commit themselves to 4 years of something that they're not going to complete. 2 years is what I require. 4 years is good. But so when did that thought happen? Do you remember when you started having that thought that you didn't want to do 4 years of college, or like a traditional school rather?
I think I've always been thinking about that, to be honest. I don't know exactly. Probably around middle school, probably about 7th grade, because I started realizing that, I'm not going to be in school forever. And so I just started thinking, like, what do I really want to be when I grow up? And here I am, sophomore in high school, still haven't found the answer.
Well, I think a part of the conversation that we had yesterday, not yesterday, but a couple of days ago, you mentioned a few things. 2 of them were very shocking to me. Well, I mean, one was very shocking to me. The other one was kind of like, okay, all right, I see that. Our family in general is very artistic in the ways of not necessarily, KJ draws really well. Like, KJ draws really, really well. Aaliyah, you saw her yesterday. Alyssa, she's in college in Western Carolina. And then Alexis, she lives in Georgia. All great artists. They can all draw. Blows my mind. I don't know where they got it from, because I can only draw stick figures. That's how that's going down. So, did you just agree with me?
Yes.
I'm recording.
Yeah. You want me to lie?
Anyway, so I don't draw well. I'm glad they do. But we all write. We're all writers. To some degree, we're all writers. I write poems, I write stories. KJ told me something the other day that kind of shocked me about, he has a very creative mind, and when he opened that side of him up to me, I was like, mind blown. So, do you feel comfortable sharing with the world what you said to me the other day?
Yeah, I mean, I've always, like, since about middle school, 7th or 8th grade, I thought of, like, I started getting into comic books, like Marvel comics, DC comics, and like some indie comics, but mostly DC comics. And so I was like, I like how the characters are, I like how they're structured, I like the story that they tell most of the times. And then I was like, I feel like I could do this. I just felt like I couldn't. I don't know the way to go about it. Like, I know how to start, and I know where to, like, I know how to start, and I know what I should be doing. But me, as a perfectionist, I can't complete it because I know it's not going to be exactly how I want it.
Do you think being a perfectionist gets in the way of your creativity? You think it like holds it back at all?
Yes. Because what I believe in is that once you start something, that's like, you should probably finish it in that sitting, because you'll lose, well, I do, but you'll lose your train of thought, and it's not going to be exactly how you want it the first time.
Okay. So do you think, like, we used to call, I don't know what they call them now, but in school we used to call them cliff notes. You kind of have, like, off to the side what you want, your idea, even if you don't have the ability at that moment to take it into the space you want it to be, or it's just not coming together. Like, if you wanted a climatic, I'm trying to say, if you wanted a climatic moment right there, but you just didn't know how to put it together, and what you were writing or drawing, didn't necessarily add up to what you were seeing in your mind. Do you ever do stuff like that to kind of come back to it, maybe give it a break, let it rest for a minute, to kind of come back and say, okay, well, this is where I was, let's try this again?
I mean, yeah, I've definitely tried to do that, but like, I never see, like, for me it doesn't work.
Okay.
Like, I've tried to, like, you know, I'll be doing something now, I gotta do something else, so I'll just write down like what I was thinking, like, real fast, or like just basically like what's the word I'm looking for? Like, basically just dots, you know,
okay,
like facts or whatever.
Yeah.
Just to like remind myself why I'm like remained off. But then I'm like, where was I going with this?
So the other day we were talking that once again, you mentioned that there were 5 characters.
Yes.
Do you find, I'm not going into details because I don't want you to give it all away. I don't want you to give any of it away, actually. So do you find yourself writing, because it's recently that we've talked about it, so have you been writing more about one character versus the other characters, or are you writing a little by little for everybody?
I've kind of been like, I guess you could say fidgety on like each character, because I know what to do with one character, but I got this other character that I don't know. Like, I started it and now I don't know what to do with him.
Okay. All right. So do you find do you just go to the next character, or just stay on that one character? Like you said, you're a perfectionist, and whenever you're working on that day, you need to complete it. So are you able to go from one character to the next, or are you just stuck on that one?
I'll be stuck on that one, but then I'll be like, all right, I've been on this for like 30 minutes. I haven't written anything down, so I'll just switch to the next character.
Gotcha. So are you drawing anything with that, or are you just only writing right now?
Writing right now.
Okay. Do you see yourself drawing, or you think you're going to partner with somebody to draw?
I would like to learn how to draw, but I don't see. I wouldn't mind if somebody drew it for me, like partnering.
I got you. Another part of the conversation we had the other night was you saying that what you're seeing in your mind to draw, you don't think that is up to par to the standards of what you want it to look like.
Definitely.
My comment was, whose standard? You know, is it the standard of what you've seen in comics or on TV, so on and so forth? Or is it the standard that you have for yourself as to what you want to see?
It's my own standard, because I can envision how it looks, and and I can like sit there and try and draw it, but then the character come out crooked, or like their eyes aren't on, you know, same level, I guess you could say. One eye's up here and then one eye's down here. It's just, and then I just end up erasing the whole thing.
So, with erasing it, do you think that's a good idea, even if it's not up to par? But if you're partnering with somebody and you gave them what you have and say, hey, you know what? I know that this isn't like the eye, one eye, like you said, the one eye is crooked, the shoulder, one shoulder maybe, you know, shrugged, or the shoulder maybe relaxed, so on and so forth. I know a lot of people have a problem drawing hands.
Yeah.
So, like maybe the hands aren't correct. So, excuse me. So maybe the hands aren't correct, but to save the idea for whomever you partner with could look at it and say, oh, okay, I see. So you want, you know, you want the arm to be relaxed like the other arm versus shrugged up in this moment. You think that's a good idea to kind of like hold your thought? Because sometimes the thought, just being a thought, is a lot of work to hold, you know, to keep in mind. And then you may lose some details in between. Or you'll add something, it's, oh yeah, that's why I added it. So if you, instead of holding it in your mind, do the sketch, I'll just say sketch, do the drawing or sketch, and then that way when you partner with somebody, you can say, okay, this is what I was thinking. You think that'd be better, or do you think it's just better for you just to erase it and get the bad idea out of your head altogether?
It probably would be better for me to, you know, sit there and sketch it out. But see, the way that I see it, the more I look at it, the more I don't like it.
Okay.
So, like, I'll sit there and have a drawing out, and I'm saying, like, this is terrible. Like I want to be able to draw it myself.
Okay.
But, like, if someone else drew it that's, like, 10 times better than me, I think I'll be alright if they drew it.
Gotcha. So do you think it's just the experience, just not having the experience in drawing that's affecting you?
What'd you say?
I said, do you think it's just the not having the experience, or is it not having the experience drawing those characters, or do you think it's more of you being a perfectionist that it doesn't look the way you want it to look?
Let me put it this way. I would like to be able to do it myself.
Okay.
As like, I would like to learn how to draw, and I want to be proud of what I've made.
Okay.
I would love to be able to do that, honestly.
Gotcha. Well, sounds like the easy solution is to get you in front of somebody who can tell you what you're trying to do, as you explain it to them, instead of you said you took art class that one time and they'd say, hey, draw this table, hey, okay, now read this book, and done. You know, it wasn't necessarily aimed at what you were trying to do specifically.
Yeah.
And you know, nowadays there's ways to find like different classes. Everybody's teaching something online, or they're like, here we're in North Carolina once again. It's very easy to find, or we can go out, you know, further out to like Greensboro or like Charlotte. They have like art classes. They don't necessarily have to take the whole course to draw. I think learning the basics is good.
Yeah.
I think it is, and I think that what you're wanting to do is shortcut the process. I understand that you just want the meat and potatoes. I understand that, and you know, hey, you know, I'm not a big greens fan. I don't want salad. And let's not get in an accident, Carla. My bad, bro. Didn't see him. So, but anyway, so I understand you want to learn what you want to learn to help you right then and there, but the basics can help you further along, because if you learn just how to draw characters, then you'll struggle when it comes time to like learning how to draw a background. Or if you want a car to be in the scene, struggle how to learn how to draw the car. Or if you want your eyes to be level, those basics can show you that. I think that there is something out there that we can find, but you gotta look, that's going to benefit you in this time. both for your characters and both for your overall, like you said, you want to be proud of what you look at or what you create. I think it's wonderful that you want to be self-contained, because you can write the story, and then if you can get the how you want your characters to look, if you can get that down under control, then you've written the story and you've drawn the characters. So the only thing next is publishing. If you put it all together, editing, publishing, making sure everything is where it's supposed to be. So I think it's definitely a good idea. I love it. I love to see your mind being creative and productive, and I also like the fact that you're coming out and you're sharing these things with me. The shocker of the conversation is that my son said that he wanted to be something that I didn't know he wanted to be. I didn't even know that thing existed in them, which is kind of crazy, because I feel like I know my children, but having this one conversation, he's the reason why we're having these kind of conversations. Because when I talked to him, I realized there were things about my kid I didn't know. And I think that I'm a pretty good father, but at the same time, there's just things that about your kids that if you don't ask them, you'll never know. So I asked him, I put it in order, like, okay, so when you go to college, there's a major and there's a minor. What would be your major, what would be your minor? And he told me. I said, so what would be your top few things that you want to do if you put them in order? And do you remember what those were?
The first one was producer.
Okay. Because you do music.
Yeah, the second one was, I forgot exactly what it was. It had something to do with like writing or like drawing or something like that.
Yeah, I think you say animation.
Animation, yeah, it was animation. And then the third one was investigation, or like be an investigator.
An investigator. Didn't know my son had it in him. I know he watched a lot of Law and Order, but I didn't know that. I didn't know he wanted to be an investigator. I was shocked. I was like, oh, wow. Do tell. Please elaborate on that. What brought that out? Was it the Law and Order marathons, or was it just something that you always seen and kind of like, I can see myself doing that?
I always thought being an investigator was cool. Like, even since I was little, like, everybody wanted, everybody when they was little, they wanted policeman, fireman, something like that. I wanted to be an investigator. I want to be able to solve like mysteries and junk like that. Get to the bottom.
So where's the drive for that? You're very driven when it comes to your music. You're writing your lyrics. You're very driven learning how to You're very driven learning how to operate the music program that your Uncle Alan has been telling you about and helping you set up. So where is that? Do you have the same drive for the investigative side of you?
I would see the problem with the investigating side is that I don't know where to start, like, period. I don't know where I should start or how I should go about it. What do I watch? What do I do to like even go forward with that process?
Okay. Well, that's where Dad comes in. Help you right along with that. I said it then, I will say it again. I'll help you with that. We'll work with that. We'll partner together with that. So, do you think your investigative side helps fuel your storylines, your characters?
I would probably say so, because it helps me build like certain storylines in a way to where the answer isn't obvious.
Okay.
So I know how to I can't remember the exact same, but basically lead you one way, but really it's a whole different type of thing.
I got you.
Can't remember exactly the same.
I can't put it together either. I apologize. It's still relatively early.
It's like a it's like a curtain behind the curtain.
I got you. I like that. Curtain behind the curtain. I like that. So I had a question. I just forgot. I seriously forgot it. Okay, so you've always wanted to be an investigator. So do you think that came? Do you think that came from any specific source? I know sometimes you see things that kind of make you want to do it, that inspire that thought to say, yeah, I want to be an investigator. My example last time to use, I wanted to be a firefighter. kids told me that I couldn't be a firefighter because I was short and fat, right? So why does everybody laugh when I say that?
The way you say it is just funny.
But the thing that made me want to do that was I saw one guy. He was outside. They were cleaning up the rig, and I was riding my bike. Me, Uncle Damien, Uncle Quentin used to ride our bikes everywhere. I think I was actually by myself at the particular time. But I was riding by and I saw him. He had on, I don't know what they're called. They're the long boots that they get into, and they have the straps that go over their shoulders and stuff like that. And he was outside, and I guess he was cleaning up, or they had just got back. I don't know. But it just looked cool to me. You know what I'm saying? He looked cool doing that. He had the hoses all laid out, and they were wrapping them back, getting them back together, stretching them back out, and then folding them back up. I thought it was pretty dope. I was like, man, he's a fireman, obviously, because it's a fire truck, but I think that's pretty dope to be. Was it something like that that made you kind of feel that, or was it just an original thought out of nowhere that just kind of happened?
I would probably say it's kind of a little bit of both, to be honest, because, well, actually, I don't know. I don't know where that kind of came from. Obviously, you see, most likely I probably got it through like media or something. Okay. Because, you know, the only reason why any news or newspaper gets their story is because of the investigator.
Yeah, true.
They get all their stories from investigators.
True.
So whatever you tell, whatever you say will be probably in a newspaper. It probably came from an investigator.
Gotcha.
And I always thought like, oh, how do they find like certain things out? Like, how do they find out this and that happened when they weren't even there?
Yeah, investigators. So, are you looking for, like, you say investigator? Are you looking for like investigative journalism? Or are you, excuse me? Are you looking for? Well, are you looking to be an investigative journalist? Jesus, I couldn't say it. Or are you looking to be an investigator more on the legal side, like being like investigating homicides or investigating leads as a detective?
I'll probably go with the detective side, just because it sounds more interesting than journalism.
A lot of research in journalism.
Yeah.
A lot of research in being a detective. However, maybe a little different. Maybe. I don't know a lot about either one of them, so I may be talking outside of my neck. But okay. So investigation. So you mentioned photography last time also.
I did.
Yep. You mentioned photography because we talked about you possibly going to what's it called? What's that school called? That you called it Votech when I was in school. Vocational school. Basically vocational school while you're in high school. I cannot think of the name because Alexis went. I can't think of the name of it right now. But anyway, so we talked about you doing that in photography, or that in I think they offer like more art classes that way also in the arts rather than classes. Yeah. So have you given any more thought to that? I know last time we talked you said not really. Have you thought anything more about that?
No, not really. I mean, I love photography, but like I can't see I would only do it for fun, I would say. Like, I don't think I could pursue it as a career because it doesn't seem very I can't think of the word I'm trying to say.
Wait, like you don't make a lot of money?
Nah, it's like that too, but what's the word I'm thinking of?
Lucrative?
Doesn't have to do with money, Dad.
Hey, maybe it's a different spin or something. I don't know.
Can't think of the word I'm trying to say. Basically, I don't think I would have that much like fun trying to do it. I feel like I would get bored of doing it.
I got you.
Like really fast.
Okay. But I think photography would tap into your creative side more because you'd have to make it fun. You as a photographer have to engage with your subjects or clients rather. So you'd have to make it fun. So a lot of that will come from you. So if you think you're going to get bored with it, you've got to find more ways to make it interesting and enjoyable to you. You've got to find more places to have these photo shoots. You know what I'm saying? So especially if you shoot with kids, oh my goodness, like babies, distracted quick, very quick. Nice. So you'd have to be like Johnny on the spot the whole time. But beyond that, I think that is something that I think that'll train your eye more to colors, to adjustments, and like backgrounds, because the subject is really good. Because you being the subject of my picture is awesome. Everybody knows what you look like, but people say that's a really good picture of you. But the background makes the picture. I can take a picture of you right now in the car, and it was like, okay, Cage is in the car. Wow. But if I put you in the scenic background, like a lot of people love Pilot Mountain, right? They take a picture of the knob. They can put somebody in the that little lookout part they pull off to the side and look at. They put somebody in there and take a picture, and they focus the camera on them, but the background is really what makes the picture. So I think being a photographer or even exploring that a little bit would open your eye to color, to focus, to even that right there on to the left of us. That's the sun, obviously, but then you have the clouds around it. The sun is bright, but the clouds around it make the picture because it's a supporting cast member, and it just adds to the picture. I think that it would be a great idea, even if you just, like you said, for fun, explored that. I think that'll help your artistry. He's not interested. You see how he responded? He's not at all interested. I said all of that for nothing, ladies and gentlemen. For nothing.
I am interested. It's just that I could just see myself doing it for fun. I can't see myself pursuing it as a career.
Well, nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with making a couple dollars on the side either. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Well, we are pretty much at school, about to drop the young man off so he can pursue his dreams of higher learning. Look at his face. Look at his face. Not excited
at all.
So appreciate y'all coming along for the ride. Hope it was enjoyable. Hope I didn't ramble on too long. Hope y'all learned a little bit of something. And say goodbye to the people, bro.
I thought you was basically rounding it off.
Oh, well, you went like this, so I was like, okay.
Yeah. Still it now. You messed it up.